morning, I'm Agustín Zepeda for NewZtar Intelligence. Here is your global briefing for Thursday, June 4, 2026. A ceasefire agreement between Israel and Lebanon collapsed today just hours after it was announced. Hezbollah rejected the deal, calling it a farce, saying they were excluded from negotiations. Iran reports no tangible progress in broader regional talks, as tensions escalate across the Middle East. But here is where the coverage diverges. Middle Eastern media frames this as an imposed agreement violating Lebanese sovereignty, while American and European outlets focus on the diplomatic process failure. Israeli media emphasizes Hezbollah's upgraded drone capabilities as the primary security threat, an angle largely absent from Western coverage. The House of Representatives delivered a rare bipartisan rebuke to President Trump today, voting to restrain his war powers on Iran. Significant Republican defections enabled the measure to pass. Trump called the Republican supporters grandstanders and unpatriotic as the vote constrains military action without congressional authorization. But here is where the coverage diverges. American conservative media questions the motivations of Republican defectors and emphasizes the need for executive flexibility in crisis situations. American liberal outlets and European media stress constitutional checks and balances, framing the vote as a necessary constraint on presidential power. The Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance issued an unprecedented joint warning today about Chinese espionage operations targeting Western professionals. The warning specifically identifies Chinese recruitment platforms and job sites as vectors for intelligence gathering. This marks the first coordinated public alert from all 5 member nations on Chinese cyber threats. But here is where the coverage diverges. American and European outlets frame this as a serious national security threat requiring immediate action, while Chinese state media dismisses the warning entirely as anti-China propaganda and fear-mongering. Russian media portrays this as Western intelligence agencies deflecting from their own surveillance activities. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton is expected to plead guilty to mishandling classified information. This marks a significant escalation in prosecutions of former officials over classified document handling. The case signals increased enforcement by the Justice Department, regardless of political affiliation or seniority. But here is where the coverage diverges. American conservative media questions whether this prosecution is politically motivated and selectively timed, while American liberal outlets emphasize this demonstrates equal application of law regardless of position. European media focuses on the broader implications for democratic accountability and classified information security. The Swiss National Bank shocked markets today with an aggressive 50 basis point rate cut, bringing rates down to 0.5%. The move signals growing concerns about European economic stability and follows disappointing growth data. The dollar surged immediately following the announcement as investors seek safer assets. But here is where the coverage diverges. American media emphasizes benefits for U.S. consumers and dollar strength, while European outlets focus on growing recession fears and economic weakness. Chinese state media frames this as evidence of Western economic decline and systemic instability. Blackstone restricted redemptions from its flagship credit fund today following heightened withdrawal requests. The move signals growing stress in private credit markets as investors seek liquidity. This is the first major restriction from a top-tier private equity firm since the regional banking crisis. But here is where the coverage diverges. American financial media largely frames this as routine portfolio management and downplays systemic risk, while European outlets draw explicit comparisons to pre-2008 liquidity freezes. Chinese state media portrays this as evidence of American financial system fragility and excessive risk-taking. That is your NewZtar Intelligence briefing for Thursday, June 4, 2026. News in every angle, every morning. I'm Agustín Zepeda. Stay informed.